in this massive crate of a box lays my first PC flipping adventure. Why is it my first? Well, lots of personal issues, but this is gonna be my first ever attempt at a PC flip on camera. I have attempted in the past, but never worked out because not being really acknowledged. But now with a little more research and a little help from Dad, I've gotten a little something to try and flip. And since this box still has my personal information, I'm gonna go cut to the part where I open it up. This thing's huge. And it opens up like no other box I ever opened up before. Okay, that explains it. But I'm gonna need a trash bag for this. I don't need this many packing peanuts. Can't even reach the camera. Just bubble wrap is enough. You do not need packing peanuts for a PC. Ah! Okay. And while I go find a trash bag to kill all these packing peanuts, you'll probably see the part where I explain the PC. Oh boy, this is gonna be a fun thing to edit, and you won't have to see me do it, because I'm gonna edit out the parts where I'm suffering. Well, after that packing peanut nightmare, which I'm going to probably suffer repercussions for, let's unpack this. Oh God. Assuming the packing peanuts have not damaged the hardware, because I just felt a static jolt. Don't pack your hardware with packing peanuts, guys. It increases the risk of damage. Not saying it's not. Not saying it's the end of the world if you use packing peanuts, just saying it increases your chances with the end of the world. I'm not good at this shit. Probably because I'm using a RAM stick to cut. And I wonder why it's hard to press for some people. With this amount of bubble wrap, I think this PC was safe enough. Oh, she's beautiful, she's a beauty, she's a gem. Oh my God, it is. Is great. What is this? Drive base. Oh, probably shouldn't touch those until. Oh. You know, oh, this thing has handles. Jesus, it's heavy. And here we have a Dell Precision 5820. Not good with talking. And it is a workstation. And this is going to be the thing we're going to try to flip. Ideally, you would get something a little more consumer bound. You know, an actual, an a Dell with a regular i5 or i7 if you're lucky, and then slot in a GPU from here. But no, I decided to make life a little difficult or a little crazy. I don't know the difference between the two. But let me tell you why I chose a Dell over why I chose a workstation over a regular Dell. Oh, we even got an NVMe slot here. Slots in right here. I would soon later break said NVMe slot. The luxuries of a workstation For us, only for us mere mortal peasants to gawk at. Hopefully I don't break anything. But this is a workstation Dell. It was designed to work more reliably than their consumer grade desktops. Not saying you should go out of your way to get a workstation, just saying it's a little nicer. Alright, let's get this tubby beast on its side. Ugh. And let's see what's inside. Inside we have our main GPU and our little is that a VGA adapter? I honestly don't know. Whoopsies. Our first part of this assembly is our little... Oh, it's not VGA. It's Uwu. And our other card. Deliciously sound inside this Dell workstation. He's a little huge. It comes with a holder bracket.
Yeah, I made you a burger.
Okay, distractions aside, we have our pretty heavy, not best to calculate weight by hand, but this is a pretty dense heat sink. Yeah, that's pure metal, and that's what you should expect for a workstation GPU. But then again, if this wasn't pure metal, it'd probably get a little toasty. As this is a blower style card, and you know my reputation with blower style cards. Speaking of which, we have to do a performance test with this thing in. It just feels right for this channel to do this kind of bad. But no, before we get to any sacrilege, let's review the Dell's guts for a second. Inside, move the GPU aside. Inside we got 2 sticks, dual channel RAM, which is nice for a Dell, not nice for the fact this is a workstation. Either the salvage company stole the RAM, or this Dell came spec'd with pretty shit ECC. The question is it even spec'd with ECC? Made in the Philippines. Means 8 gig stick. That's sad. And look at how lonely these modules are. They're miles apart, and they have to work together. Luckily, we might upgrade it to not some non-ECC checking memory, but regular RAM is fine for our gaming application. But first, let me get it in with both hands. I really don't want to damage this. This is some really nice stuff, and I'm not used to working with. We even got 2 connectors, 2 8-pins. And combined with our deliciously nice 950 watt power supply. Oh, wrong side. 80 plus gold. We should be pretty much fine. And hopefully this power supply's got another 4 years in it. Maybe more at best. For now, let's see how this games in its stock configuration. First, let's get our little friend back. No, we're not putting back in the uwu port. Just found something that made me pause for a second. Like, hold on. What is this? What is this thing? Give me a screwdriver. Oh, it's a Patriot. For a second, I thought we were having some issues because it looked like it was being bent to death. And then my Asian parents are arguing. Alright, time to end the camera. Okay, we're suffering a minor defect. Why did I make that sound? Anyways, our little Radeon workstation is a all display port. Is an all display port GPU. Not a single HDMI here. Problem with that is my capture card is HDMI only, and I don't have a DP to HDMI adapter, so we're kind of gonna toss out the W6600 anyways. I'll film its performance on another time, but for now, it's gotta go. Well, this isn't the best replacement for a 6600, as even the workstation variant can keep up with its gaming counterpart. This will have to do. I don't know, this just feels a little wrong for me. It's working! It's working! It's allowed! I honestly didn't know. I saw the amber light and I thought I was dead. After confirming the PC works, I just realized, actually I just remembered, I do have something similar to the W6600. Let's get that 1650 out of here. Yeah, sorry bud, you're not getting benchmarked. And get this RX 6600 in here. There's minor differences between the W6600 and the RX 6600, but on paper, they're basically the same shit. It's so weird using PCIe slots 16x without the actual clippy thing. How does it not rip out? Well, the Dell casing actually has this metal bracket piece here. I don't know if it's to hold the GPU in. I don't know if it's to prevent aftermarket GPUs from being installed. Either way, let's see what happens. I then spent 25 minutes troubleshooting this Dell on Windows 11, trying to figure out what was wrong with it. But it turns out this Dell just hates Radeon GPUs. And even though it came with the W6600, that's a workstation Radeon, and this will refuse to boot with anything that doesn't have a green logo on it. Probably. If I still have the Dell and it hasn't been sold, I'll probably try it with an ARC GPU. Depends on what the comments say. After dealing with some troubleshooting issues regarding a certain RX 6600 that might be dead and I might need to get a new GPU, we'll be seeing how this PC performs with just a 1650 before dropping our flipper card in. Well, this is what I did for not. Oh, phlegm. This is what I get for not sorting out my recording files. I don't know which footage is the 1650 and which footage is this 2070. But it's safe to assume that since we're limited by 4 gigabytes of VRAM, that this is the 1650 footage. So, in Forza Horizon 5, we see that the 1650 does decently. It's always done decently. But it's getting there in age. As much as FSR you can just slap onto it, there comes a point where you have to admit the 1650 is a not very usable car anymore. It's just it came out in 2019, guys. It's 6 years old, and if you still have one, how? But not to worry, assuming that most 1650 builds came with an AM4 socket or 8th gen Intel, which really hope you're not rocking those in 2025. You could probably upgrade to a crappy, sloppy 5050 if you can find one from after this RAM apocalypse. But at the time of recording, RAM apocalypse was in its early stages and RAM prices were still useful. But moving further down the list of uh-ohs, the 1650 still has some decent applications. I mean, if you're like really, really poor, like, I don't know, somewhere in Nicaragua. I probably butchered that name. But you could probably slap the 1650 into a decent low power system. I wish I still had some low power systems. And, because I kind of either all my OEM PCs are gutted, don't work, or not applicable for this application or example. But back to the 1650, which I keep losing track of. Well, we'll technically talking about it. I try to recommend getting a 1650 Super if you're really that desperate, or literally a used GTX 1060 or 1070. 16 series is this day and age questionable, and anything below the 20 series is questionable too, mainly due to driver support and lack of ray tracing. In Cyberpunk 2077, we see on low settings 1080p, we see that we're doing pretty well. And I just crashed into someone, but that's a tomorrow problem. Anyways, our little 1650 is not as struggling as bad as I thought. Low settings, Night City looks pretty nice. Our averages are above 64, but that's kind of a lie. So let's kind of do it to 50, maybe lower. Our 1% lows are at 35. Our 0.1% lows is a fat 13. Wow. But considering this is had a burp. Considering that the 16 series is basically just a 10 series with a nanometer refresh, the 1650 is not much to expect. Although I do not understand why they didn't do a 1680, where it was Ti, where it was basically the 1080 Ti with a nanometer refresh. That could have allowed for some better overclocking and better power draw, and better temps, even more performance. But no, NVIDIA was pushing the RTX line, so fuck you, I guess. Oh. Well, let's see how this PC does with a 2070 upgrade. I then proceed to forget to film me installing the 2070 out of laziness. But it's a Gigabyte 2070, so nothing to worry about. It's nothing special. Unless you're a hardcore Asus fan or something. I don't know. Forza Horizon 5, 1080p medium settings. As this headache is killing my head, probably from me showering too much, we see a decent usage in GPU memory, some pretty-ish temps. I mean, maximum usage in 76 Celsius is pretty normal. Our CPU is drawing CPU temperature for a Dell is actually pretty good. And because, unlike, a Dell Optiplex, Dell never decided, hey, let's not skimp out on our workstation cooling solution. And thus, the benefit of having a workstation for a home PC is that you don't get cheap cooling, and you basically get a whole computer too. One issue though, you gotta deal with workstation shenanigans. As lots of workstations are dedicated for certain software, certain applications, that means they're not as open to PCIe devices. And what I mean by PCIe devices is your graphics card, your adapters, your, I don't know, goddamn 2.5 gigabit NIC. Again, you can run into compatibility issues with almost any motherboard and GPU or CPU combination. But this is a special application where we don't get any Radeons. Would I recommend this PC flip? No. Would I recommend the 2070 in it? Yeah. Would I recommend this PC if you bought it? Up to you. Depends on what you want. As for why I purchased the 2070 over a 3060, is due to the fact that this is PCIe 3.0, and if I were to purchase a 3060, I would be losing out on performance. Not to mention, this is a 950 watt power supply inside here, so the power draw is not really an issue. You could drop in a 1080 Ti in here and you wouldn't have much issues. Or an RTX 5070 if you feel like bottlenecking it to hell. But then again, you would be reaching the thousands price range, and at that point, just build an AM5 system. But not right now, at Ramageddon. Alright, while I'm being chased by the police, we have turned up ray tracing to medium settings, and I forgot to mention this initially, even for the GTX 1650, which is probably why it's running so well, is that we're having Fidelity FX on, and that's technically cheating. But since this is a PC flip and I want this PC out of here, I'm just gonna say that this is fine. We're not doing comparisons or anything. 0.1% low is pretty low. Our 1% low is pretty low. Our averages is a lie, and I'd say it's probably at 42, maybe 40. Actually, 42 is more accurate. 20 series ray tracing is not that bad, although I would definitely try to aim for 40 series if you want to do any want to do any ray tracing, or 50 series. Although I would recommend a 5070, or 5060 Ti or 5070 for any path tracing. Even then, a 50 series in this Dell Precision 5820 is questionable. It's PCIe 3.0, and so the benefit of PCIe 5.0 gone down the drain, and the power draw, not much of a benefit either, as Blackwell is kind of I don't remember what 40 series was called. Blackwell's basically Ada Lovelace with a minor overclock. Not even joking, the 5050 draws more power than the 4060 at times. Good times. And this Dell is Radeon allergic. It vomited back out the RX 6600. It refused to boot further with it. Like, why, Dell? What was the point in accomplishing making a BIOS incompatible with Radeon cards? Even though this came with a Radeon workstation, That's a Radeon workstation, not a conventional Radeon card. Dell. Their name alone means issues. Anyways, let's head on to Forza Horizon 5's ray tracing and see how optimized that is. Normally, one does not play Sims while doing final thoughts, and usually talks about the computer. Well, I'm not doing that. Instead, going to admit, I kind of lost motivation while making this video. I got sad, I got issued. There's nothing to worry about. It's just, I'm not a very motivated person. So, let me break it down. So, our original PC costed $340, which, not bad. You might as well just paid for a computer. And it came with a 256 NVMe, which we ripped out and decided not to use during our flip, which we should have probably used. The Dell comes with Windows, and it came with a W6600. Well, now what did we lose? We lose the W6600, which we already lose a good margin of money from that, as we lose probably $200, as the W6600 is worth, or not worth, but sells for around $200 on eBay. Keep in mind, prices can fluctuate, especially during Scoutpocalypse, during seasons, or just bidding in general. As this is a workstation card, the PC loses much of its value when it is removed. And though I could have probably made more money scamming someone by selling this system with a W6600 in it, I decided to put a 2070 in it, which costed around $161. And our sim is on fire. Oh, no, she's... Motherfucker. I let you in the house and you burn it down. But anyways, back to our 2070. 2070. That costed around $161. $0.99. We could just round that to the 162. And assuming that the $200 removed from the $340 of the Dell, we can assume that we are back to $300 in value again. So if we can probably squeeze out a little money from labor and parts, and the fact this is we're giving or upgrading the SSD storage amount to 500 gigs, we can probably try and get around, give or take, $500, $450 at the minimum. Though, one can dream. Though, I wish I could sell this for much more. But, there comes a point where There comes a point where you can't scam the person, and it would be much more, and it would sell better if you had just priced it honestly. Honestly is kind of a skew, as I am kind of upcharging you labor for not much labor. I did not build a single thing on this computer, just installed a graphics card and called it a day. But I am also providing services in case this computer fails, so give or take. Oh, right, how much did I make in profit? Right, so if we sell the W6600, plus the computer itself, we should have made, in theory, $200. Is that right? Fuck. I mean, I guess $200 is better than no bucks. What the heck? It's PC flipping. What can you expect? Anyways, if you liked the video, leave a like. If you have a critique, leave a comment. If you liked me, then subscribe. If you don't like me, leave a comment and a dislike. And see you on the next video, which will probably be in another month because of how demotivated I am. Depends. We'll see. Bye.